Hey everyone, hi, how are you doing? How are you doing? Welcome to another edition of Live Your Best Life. Who's joining us live? Let's know who you are. Let's know where you're joining from. And above all, I would really appreciate if you shared this video with as many as you can. Live. I'm always excited about the live watchers. Of course, that's not to say you who is watching it playback or replay is not welcome. You're highly, highly valuable to us. I want it to be a very interactive session. So please be sure to drop your comments below. Love you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Here it's all about relationships. And I have a guest in the house this afternoon. I'm so excited. But before then, let me know how your Sunday has been. Did you make it to church? How are you? What did you do today? Good to see your face. Where are the live watchers? Please share the link with as many as you can. I'll be doing the same. I have a guest in the house. She's going to help us do justice to our topic of the day. Let me briefly introduce her and then I'll get her to do an opening to everyone. Let me also know if you can hear me, if you can see me. You're always my quality officers. Let me know if our audio is good. If for any reason you're not hearing, please let's know. Welcome, 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 everyone. I can see, I'm trying to see if I can show the comments. Anyway, please drop your comments. I'll come later on to highlight it. So we have Mrs. Bosede Olushola Obasa in the house. She's a Nigerian entrepreneur, character development, corporate culture strategist, and workplace attitude advisor. She's the chief executive officer of First Royal Character and Values Limited, a social capital development and management company focused on character, values, and workplace culture. A former senior correspondent with The Punch, she has built a strong reputation for promoting character-driven leadership, ethical workplace conduct, and positive organizational culture. She's also known for her work in corporate training, leadership development, and public advocacy on the importance of character in personal and professional success. So I'm sure you see that there's no one more qualified to speak about our topic for today. Please, with a drum roll, help me welcome Mrs. Olushola Obasa. Welcome, 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 welcome. I had some discussion. Welcome, welcome. Please, would you just introduce yourself in one simple sentence to our audience, how you want them to?
Okay, so any feedbacks? Is this okay? Can I go
yes,
on?
I can hear you. Your audio is good from my end. Let our viewers let us know as well if you can hear her, but I can hear you for sure.
Beautiful, beautiful. So my name is Bosete Olushola Obasa, and you already did a brief that absolutely captures who I am. Perhaps the only thing on that's not on that brief bio is the fact that I love to call myself a VACE, VACE, value adding citizen of the earth. Value adding citizen of the earth. So that's my statement of purpose. I add value wheresoever I am. So get ready. That's absolutely what to expect this evening. Thank you for having me.
I love it. Value. I love it. I love it. From what I've read, I think there's no one honestly that qualifies more to tell us about office politics. So when people hear the term office politics, they often think of gossip and manipulation. How would you define office politics? I was at a headhunting show a few years ago, and one of the questions I was asked, it was a ploy to headhunt me into the CEO legal, of a major pharmaceutical company. And one of the CEOs, one of the vice president, I'm sorry, asked me that, Rookie, what do you think about office politics? I was thrown off balance for a few seconds before my smart stick stuck out and kicked in. What would you define in layman's terms what office politics is all about?
Okay, so office politics can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. And without looking for a dictionary fit explanation, it is how people are managed, relationships are managed using work and conduct in the offices, in the workplaces. So how do you manage people and relationship with them through your work quality and your quality of conduct. Quality of conduct can be smartness, savviness, education around it, and all. So, office politics is everything around it. Yes, the thing that differentiates between clean office politics and dirty office politics, because I usually say there's politics everywhere, even in the
Yeah.
office, even in our homes, but I usually say that play it clean. The difference between those who understand office politics and use it negatively and those who use it positively is intention. The intention for which you are deploying that skill. It's actually a life skill. Everybody in the work world needs to master. But you see, whilst others are mastering it for untoward, wrong, totally selfish reasons and purposes, other persons who understand it know that it's one of the major things that if you don't get it right, it can frustrate the effort you are making. So you have to get it right. There's a scripture where Jesus said that the children of this world act wiser than the sons of the kingdom. I believe that office politics belong to one of those things he was referring to, because those guys know how to tick the dots, they know how to cross the T's, they know how to dot the I's around office politics, while those of us who are supposed to even be smarter do not even understand. First of all, our mind is abused.
Right.
As to what it means. So we're not even giving it a chance, let alone understanding how you can play clean.
Right.
So for me, that's where it stands. And I'm sure that I will have opportunity during our conversation today to talk about a few moments in my years as an employee where I had to play that card. It's actually a card, and your savviness around playing it can determine whether you are frustrated, you are burnt out, or whether you actually thrive. It's critical, and it is many of the things that we know, but probably don't know they go by that name. And so we're not able to benchmark properly and then get all the benefits attached to it.
Exactly. So you've just hit the table and we're exposing the white elephant in the room. Why does why does office politics exist in the first place, even where there's strong values and policies in an organization? You've said that it's common to man. I mean, that's arguable, but I would like to know what you think. Why? What is it all about? Why is there a need for politics in the office?
To not, yes, please. To not be aware that there's office politics is to get swallowed by it.
Yes, yes.
To not be aware that there's even politics in your family is to mismanage the benefits you could provide or present. Why office politics? I would answer that question as though I was hearing the question, why politics in our polity at all? Why politics in governance? Why politics in leadership? Why politics in economies? Why politics in rulership? Why politics? So it's just like saying, why? What's the essence of politics in Nigeria? We're warming up already, and in Nigeria here we're voting in the year just ahead of us. So to say, oh, why do we need politics? Why are they trying to warm up to people now? Why are they trying to put their scorecards out there? Why are they trying to do some things they have not done before, just so that you think they are the best fit for you? Why are they at one another's neck as to, oh no, you are not the right one, oh, you are the right one? Why is everyone rooting for themselves, so to speak? Exactly. Because politics is the pathway to governance.
I like that.
If you're going to have governance, if you're going to govern, if you're going to reign, if you're going to hold sway, whether for the right or the wrong reasons, then you must play the ball. Whether you are interested in playing or not, the game is on.
Right. I like
It's
that.
like saying, I don't want to fight the devil. Oh,
Mhm.
well, the devil is willing to fight you. What would
Yes,
you rather do?
I love
So
it.
that awareness, and I'm particular about this when it has to do with Christians like myself.
Yes.
There are a few things we must know. Every time I remember that there are things that the children of this world know and are mastering, and
Hmm.
we're just letting it go,
Hmm.
then I know that this has got to have been one of some things. And even if you look at the life of the disciples of Jesus, you
Hmm.
will find that some of them understood certain things other than others. So,
True.
what do you know? How can you deploy it? And all of that. So, I'm
Mm.
sure that this will get more interesting as we go on. So, why
I'm already.
politics in the workplace is like saying, why politics in the world? The answer speaks for itself.
That's so powerful. I'm telling you, I'm already very excited. So, what are some
Mm.
common forms of office politics that employees may not even recognize is politics? Can you readily think of
Okay.
some?
So sometimes you go into a room where you're taking a leadership course, maybe an executive course or a mid-level executive course, and
Mhm.
you hear the facilitator say something like, manage your boss.
Yes.
The entire thing, I'm just speaking that as an example. The
Hmm.
entire thing around managing your boss is schooling you to
Hmm.
understand the politics of how your boss acts,
Yes.
reacts,
Yes.
responds, was
Hmm.
the job done, was it
Hmm.
not done,
Hmm.
lows, highs, midways, everything you need to know. Now, that's going to be called to question around delivery of work. So there is
Hmm.
no way someone who wants to do office politics clean, there is
Hmm.
no way you are going to leave the things that are basic out. In fact, you have to be crossing the A's around it. It's
Right.
the platform that you need. You must cross in your A's around delivery,
Yes.
excellent delivery, timely
Yes.
delivery,
Yes.
over and above delivery,
Yes.
beyond delivery. You must have
Mm.
those ones. And then you now manage relationships around it.
Mm.
You might know, so I just need an example of managing your boss. So let me talk about one of the major lessons I learned so many years ago about one of the people I understudied as a public speaker, and his
Hmm.
name is Dr. Niyi Adesoya.
Okay.
So many years ago, I was in the audience when he was speaking, and then he said, there's one thing he knows for certain that has been the major currency in his life and his entire trajectory, and that
Right.
has been people and relationships with them.
Mm.
So he made a very clear comment and said,
Mm.
not only do I ensure that people that I look up to, when they have social events,
Mm.
family events, things that have
Mm.
nothing to do with the office,
Mm.
things that have nothing to do with work, when they
Yes.
are celebrating, I ensure that I make it there. He didn't stop
Mm.
there.
Mm.
He went ahead to say, not only do I ensure that I make it there, no matter how much the crowd, how
Mm.
big the crowd, I
Mm.
ensure they see me while
Oh,
there.
that's powerful. Yes, that's
So
powerful.
I don't carefully saunter away saying, okay, a few people saw that I came, or I just satisfied my conscience that I came. He says, ensure the person sees you.
Mm.
You know, people have different idiosyncrasies and nuances, and you need, in managing your boss, you must know what caught their fancy. This is
Right.
not about worshiping them. So this is where we get it wrong as children of God.
Politics.
And it's all down to politics. And
Yes.
because we're talking about office, I'm using having a boss or a leader. It could even be in church organization.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere where there's an hierarchy, there is possibility of politics.
Right. I
Because
agree.
governance rests, is channeled through politics.
Right.
And there
Right.
is no way you can have a society without governance.
No.
Whether the governance is good or bad is another thing. But yes, there is governance.
I love it. I love it.
So the point around the question you ask is a few things. I just gave a few scenarios, one or two. The first one is to say every time you hear managing your boss, please read between the lines. Whenever you hear learn to read the room, these things are cliche already. We hear them, but we cannot listen to the second part of what it is saying to us. So, if you have a boss who is temperamental, a few people will pray to God to kill the boss, to get him out of the seat, or do something like that. Some other persons will stoop and study what gets them on their last nerve. What makes their day? And then they just warm up to them around what makes their day, as long as it's legal. So for a child of God, certain things are no-brainers. One, you must not be doing it for wrong intentions. And please, desiring to scale is not a wrong intention. You cannot be a great person who is unambitious. Ambition is part of driving great. Because again, some Christians think the word ambition is totally evil. That's so wrong. It is the object of your ambition that either makes it evil or good. So the same goes for politics. So when you say, oh, learn to read the room, or learn to read between the lines.
Right.
These are all words that are telling us that there might be more to what the speaker is saying than you are hearing. You have to see what they are saying. You have to hear what they are not saying. You have to see what they are not showing you. You have to conceive or understand what they are not explaining. So you have a boss who is good. I mean, it's all work. And then on this day, he or she is frantic. Oh no, I have to quickly do this meeting. And goodness, my son is going to be stuck in school. Maybe he or she just got a call. And you happen to be within the radius where that kind of expression of concern is being done. That was a moment of chance. Not because you're a bootlicker, not because you're stupid, but because you're wise. You have learned to understand opportunities and moments and to seize them. For asking for nothing, honestly, you can do that as a good and a kind person for anyone who is not even your boss.
Right.
Save them from a dilemma. And then not ask for anything. But see, it adds up to something someday. So it's not everything that you do that you're particularly looking for exactly what to pull out of, so that you are not like those who play it wrongfully. So these are a few examples and some of the words we hear that seem to educate us in this direction, but we are not listening with the second capacity to hear.
Beautiful. This is incredible. Because, you know, as you are explaining and expatiating, it occurred to me that even students, there's politics in, you know, most schools. When I was in law school, there was this particular lecturer who would tell us that in his class, the previous year, for example, he had 120 students and only 10 made it. And he would just put the fear. He would just put the fear. He was a terrorist. We knew, everybody in the department knew him for that. And I was like, God help me. How do you even begin to understand something you're already dreading, right? Then one of my classmates, whose father is a judge, so he's used to politics. I said that to say this. Said, you know what? Just what you said now, and it just occurred to me that was politics we're playing. He said we should do our best to become this guy's friend. How can you become friends with someone who is not friendly, right? He's just looking to get you. You have to dress in a certain way for his lectures. You just have to be excellent, and there's nobody that will be excellent. So I'm like, I'm not sure that will work. Long story short, we heard he was going to get married. So this guy was recruiting all of us who would like to go for the wedding. Majority of people said they don't want to go. Doesn't matter, you know, he's probably not going to notice us. And but something told me go. So I went. It was just, I think, about 5 of us from that set that went. But do you know that after then, if this guy sees us on the corridor, he'll smile. So as you're talking, I said, that's politics. Of course, I passed the course. Years later, when I needed transcript, this guy had risen and become one of the CEOs. He said,
Wow.
I remember you. I went with my baby. It was years, maybe like 15 years later. I said, you remember me? He said, of course, you're one of the good ones.
Wow.
I said, what? What did we do? We just went for the wedding. And like you said, we made sure when they were dancing in, well, woo, woo, woo. So he saw us. Mission accomplished. That's so powerful. I didn't even imagine or think it was politics we were playing, right? But that's a good kind of politics. It was honoring our lecturer, even though we had an ulterior motive. It doesn't matter. It was all good.
It was not ulterior. It made you people need to do it.
Yes, yes.
It's something called stooping to conquer.
Yes.
It's a strategy.
Oh, yes, I love that. Yeah, I love
it's
that.
Not
it
every
helps me.
war.
It helps me
It's
in
not
life.
every war that you go out for headlong. There are some, and it's so important. He said, be as gentle as a dove.
I was just reading that today. I was just reading that today. Wise as serpent. I was just reading that today. No, you're very right. Because that skill of knowing who to please and who to, be wise with has helped me. Who not to fight is helped me a lot in career. And as a leader myself, I tell people that recognize leadership and honor it. So that's politics. I just didn't know or didn't want to accept that was politics. Because I naturally don't like politics, but now you have enlightened us. Thank you so much. That's very powerful, very powerful. Those of you who have joined us live, let's know that you're on. If you have any question for our guests, please type it below. If you have any comment also on what we're talking about, please type it below. So who is most vulnerable to office politics? Is it new employees, experienced professionals, or leaders? I got into that quagmire I told you about this headhunting show, and I was thrown off balance. Again, I don't like politics. You probably have noticed that. And one of the presidents asked me, what's my stand on office politics? Now I kind of know how to read the room, which, as you've described now, is politics. So one of the VPs is German, and the other one is Swiss. And anybody who knows these two nationalities know they're not friends, particularly when it comes to boardroom politics. Now I see what you mean. And they don't like each other, generally. They don't like each other. And here I am in the middle of two VPs, and one is asking me, what's your stand on politics? I'm like, I feel that's a trap question. I really don't know how to answer it, right? Was I vulnerable? Who are the most vulnerable? New employees, the underdogs, the professionals, the bosses, because in this case, I would have been the new employees. But with what I encountered, I really was not ready to go further, with this company. But what do you think? Who is the most vulnerable? Who needs to be aware the most about office politics? Obviously, I wasn't that aware. I never could have imagined I would come up at a headhunting meeting about what office politics. So it would be nice to help someone out there who might be a new employee right now and is being frustrated or is thinking of, getting a new job and needs to know definitely what politics is and if they're vulnerable or not and what to do.
Thank you once again.
That's like 10 questions in one. You're welcome.
Honestly, I am not certain that I've ever imagined who could be more vulnerable than the other. But one thing I can say for certain, recently I've been doing a research and building a new course on workplace legacy. And workplace legacy is an attempt to awaken your conscience from day one about footprint building. How that who you are from day one, your first employment, your first employer, your first set of colleagues, you can carry it on. As you change positions, as you change roles, as you change organizations, as you change disciplines or even sector, the previous should speak well for the next. Why did
True.
I say that? There is a bit of understanding people management as to how relationships can determine the result of your work and conduct, which I define as office politics, the way
Yes.
I would rather we look at it.
Yes.
Politics, because there are things that are done under for certain things to happen out there. And it's better that you understand the cues that you are throwing in and what you expect them to bring. It's like carrying seeds. You can't bear seeds and tell yourself, oh, I don't even know what these seeds might become.
Right.
You should know what your seed will become. The law of seed, time, and harvest do not only refer to monetary or agrarian seed. They also refer to acts, actions, and reactions. So, if you're a new person coming into the work world and your intention is to build for the long haul, honestly, even if all you want to do is do a short stint at being an employee and then become an employer, you should not still throw this wisdom away.
Powerful.
Because from the standpoint where I am right now, I can tell you that many of the people you would meet or you met as senior people, colleagues, subordinates, you might cross paths with them again in doing business.
Yes.
So there is no room for you as an intentional person to throw things off and carelessly. So you're coming into the workplace. I would rather you understand this. There's a quote that I often say in my office, and many of the people who work with me have come to know me for it. I would say it's not just enough to work. It's important to understand how your employer appreciates work. It's not just enough to work. It's also important to understand how your employer appreciates work. Two different things. You can be working and putting in sweaty efforts. But if you are not working the way your particular, an employer in this case can be a supervisor, can be a director, can be someone who's supposed to put in an assessment about you. How do they appreciate work? Of course, within all the right confines. So I'm not talking about people you wanted to do things that are unethical. That's not what we're talking about here. But I'm talking about learning how your new boss understands work. Appreciates work. Caring to study how they want the slides to be done. Caring to understand how they want the accounts to be put together. Caring to understand how they appreciate words to be spoken. Caring about all of that. Look, many people rush off to work and start working. But there are things you need to understand. And it begins from the day you begin work. If you're privileged to understand it early, you're going to have a less rocky ride.
Powerful.
Let me see another thing that is important, and then I'll tie them together. Another thing that is important is sometimes you don't determine how the politics in the workplace go as the subordinate. It's usually prompted by the superior.
Exactly.
A lot of the times.
Yes.
A lot of the
times.
I have
a very big question for you on
that.
A
lot of the time. Yes. A lot of the time, you come into the work world sincerely just to work, and then here you meet someone who hates you saying good morning. All your life, your parents taught you to curtsy. And you grew up into adults, and you have always known that saying good morning was the right thing to do. But here you are, working with someone who thinks that saying good morning is a proof that you don't have something meaningful doing. That's some culture shock, calling to question the very things you were raised with. So that wasn't you initiating the environment. Leaders influence environment. Leaders initiate the atmosphere in workplaces. Leaders
Right.
are the ones who determine the climate of every workplace, largely, safely 75% of the time. And people take the lead from what they see them do. So even the ones that bootleg and do the dirty politics, borrow a lead from the gap they have seen by relating with the boss, the superior, the leader, the manager, the director, and all of that. So who needs it more? Who is more susceptible? Who is more vulnerable? Well, the younger ones may be more vulnerable, but you see, it gets more interesting as the stakes begin to change level. Because even at the level of a board,
That's what I mean.
Politics.
That's what I wanted to ask you. That's the practical question I wanted to ask you. I
Yes.
described this situation I was in, right? And
Yes.
of course, naturally, I'll gravitate towards Swiss because that's who I am. That's the culture I understand. But I happen to know that if I ever get this job, I'm going to be reporting to the German VP, right? What could I have said or done in that situation that maybe could have earned me the job? This was years ago, and I never forget that experience. What would I have done? What would have been the socially, emotionally intelligent thing to have said to answer the question that when it comes to politics, what's my stand? In a company you've not even entered yet, but you know, you know these two cultures, how they don't like each other, right? And they're already frontal about it right from the interview stage.
So I'm going to attempt to do justice to that.
I
Hoping
hope so.
that I do.
Maybe you can settle the question in my heart. Okay.
So here's what I think. There are questions people ask you not because they don't know the answer.
True.
So you need some level of understanding. There's something I call tact. Right? We all know what tact is. We all know what discretion
I thought it was
is.
a trick question because they were both there. It was like pick me kind of situation. Who are you gonna pick? So I knew it was a setup.
And you just choose yourself out by saying, I'm clueless.
At that point, I knew I was cooked. Like the Gen Zs would say. My children would say cooked. I knew I was cooked because I knew there was no way I was gonna please both parties. If I choose one, I'm in trouble with the other one. You kind of just know this is a political situation.
Yes. So usually when it comes to interest, so I'm going to speak to interest.
Okay.
In the workplace, there are personal interests, there are company or organizational interests. The safest place to hide when you are in trouble such as this is to pledge your allegiance to the company interest.
Oh, that's a very
After doing that, if you still get thrown under the bus, you will be glad that you did yourself honor.
Yes.
It will be that person's issue to not have understood what he should understand, knowing that you stood the right place.
I love
so
that.
Personal interest would be either for him or you.
Right.
When you turn the cameras or the lenses on any of the three of you at that moment, it's personal interest.
True. Actually.
So the safest place would be to pledge your allegiance to whatever the company says politics is.
Okay.
Believing that you know that company and you know they will not have a politics.
That's what I wanted to say. I wanted to say before getting to the level of being interviewed by the vice president, you would have gone through the first stage of where you have to answer the question of the mission of the company and all of that. And that was all walk in the park. You were even given, that's when I knew, this was like 10, 12 years ago. That's when I knew that the demand in the workplace was shifting because you had to take a test on SQ, social content, and EQ, your emotional intelligence.
Which is what I
Because
do. The social
I know we
quotient is
talked
what I
about this,
do.
and that's why I'm honing in on you. This is what I remember we talked about it. So they test you because of your level 5 leadership and above, right?
Yes.
They want to see how if you're going to crack easily under pressure and stuff like that. So I've gone through that to this final stage of your work. You know, you're going to be working with one VP, but then again, your politics, if it may be described like what you've said now, your politics bends towards the other VP. That was the cooked situation I was in. I think you answered it in a very
honestly,
practical way.
That's the safest.
Ultimately,
that's the safest because you're not in yet. If you were already in the organization, you might have many other platforms to stand on. Yeah. But the safest you could do was whatever you thought you knew about the brand or the organization, and you say, politics is whatever is in the interest of the growth of this business. At the end of the day, they are also enclosed inside the growth of the business.
I know, right? I was going to conclude. I was going to conclude that I got a bit of, let's say, peace for this situation, because I met years later. I was at a dinner and we were talking. There was a lady who is now a VP in the company, in that company. And when I said, where do you work? She told me, I said, oh God, I'll never forget the experience I had with the headhunters and this and that. And I told her the name of the VPs that was on then. She said, don't worry about it, Rookie. You can breathe easy. And thank God that the universe fought for you. They both got sacked. I said, yes, because it was so obvious that it was a setup. They had their personal beefs. They had their whatever corporate beef, and they just wanted to pull me, in there. And I knew it. I knew it was a trap. So I'm like, what is politics got to do with work? But yeah, that was the green me then. Thank you so much for answering that question. That was a very powerful one. I'll ask you again one more question, and then you can just wrap it. We can start to wrap this up. So as a character development advocate, that's one of what you do. What role does character play in surviving and thriving in politically charged workplaces? I mean, we started talking about it already.
Yes. Suffice it to say that some environments are politically charged, but the persons in there are not aware. Let's start from there. Some environments are politically charged, but some people working in that environment are not aware. So let's begin from awareness. When you step into any environment, there's something called culture. The culture is supposed to determine the climate of the organization. However, when culture has been mixed up with personal interests, if the culture custodians are not gatekeeping well enough, and it's been infiltrated by individual interests, then it becomes hydra-headed, and you're wondering where exactly does the center sit. But where you are in an environment that has clear-cut culture, because what character is to us as individuals is what culture is to organizations.
Yes.
Your character is the totality of qualities that differentiates you from another.
Yes.
While the culture of any organization is how the organization does its thing, uniquely different from another. So what character is to individuals is what culture is to organizations. How do you survive politically charged environments? That is, cultures in workplaces that are high on politics. I try to explain how it usually comes to that point. And that's because if either the owners decide to make it like that, so you have what they call winners take all, a winner take all, or you have survival of the fittest, those kind of
Mm.
environments.
Mm-hmm.
Or your word, it's your word against your superior's words, things
Right.
like that. Where there is overt liberty for leaders to be themselves rather than be what the brand would have them be, everyone in that system will be in some level of confusion, trying to pay allegiance to individual spotlights than
Yes.
to the organization. And if
Right.
you find yourself in that kind of a space, the first thing to do is to be aware of
Be
what you
aware.
have to do with.
Mm.
Be aware. Not
Mm.
being aware will throw you everywhere. You could get confused, you could
Yes.
get burdened, you could get worn out, you could get
Burnout. Yeah.
frustrated,
Yes.
you could even resign for no just cause.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You could wake up and workplace doesn't feel like where you should go.
Right.
If you happen to be in an organization where culture is given the respect and sanctity that it requires to make everyone feel included
Mm-hmm.
in the organization, then you're lucky. You might not have a lot to worry about. But we're talking about politically charged from the angle of toxic politics.
Exactly.
I believe.
Exactly. Exactly. Like that situation. Yes.
Toxic politics,
Yes.
where everyone for himself, God for us all.
Yes.
When you find yourself in places like that, you need to learn. I've talked about being aware of the
Yes.
environment. Then
Yes.
number two, be aware of yourself. Who are you? The question,
Exactly.
who are you, keeps popping in almost every important thing that has to do with life. Because who are you has to do with what can you stand, what have you got to offer, what do you understand about yourself, what
True.
can you
What are
survive,
you?
what can't
Exactly.
you survive, and
Exactly.
where are you going?
Your
What's your
personal
big picture?
values. Yes. Yes.
Yes. So you settle down. You don't only need to understand the environment, you need to understand yourself.
Mm-hmm.
There are places that no matter what they pay me, I cannot work there.
Yes. I agree.
Decisions. So if you've decided to stay, what will your staying make out of you?
Mm.
And how can you influence the environment? So your power to change the environment begins from your inside. There are a few
Right.
things I will recommend very strongly in addition to understanding you. Wisdom. Wisdom is so essential
True.
when it comes to answering to toxic politics. Because you answer politics with politics, but you do not have to play dirty. You
I
know,
like that.
when you said that, oh, a pig is in the mud and is calling for a showdown and beckons that you come, he is in his own space.
Mm-hmm.
The pig is in his own space.
Right.
Your response directly to what is charging you to do
Answer
is going
politics.
to mess what you have up. So if you know that the stake is higher for you, you're going to learn to let things simmer before you respond to them. It's wisdom to choose your words, to choose your actions. And there is one thing I've thought about very often in workplace politics. It is called diplomacy. Now, in the governance of the entire world, diplomacy is key.
True.
Diplomacy teaches you who not to fight, when not to fight, how not to fight, why not to fight, and why you must jaw rather than war.
True.
How to allow time to have its place in resolving issues or becoming. Diplomacy, wisdom. I mentioned tact earlier on, or discretion. For
Yes.
instance, I speak to a lot of people in workplaces who have the temperament of, I can address any issue. It's good. I love you for your boldness. But you see, when you want to understand office politics, looking at it from the prism of diplomacy, you lead a unit. So this is an example. You lead a unit, and your unit have not been maybe funded for one thing or the other, and you want to hold brief for the members of your team. Is that a good thing to do? Absolutely. As a leader, that's a good thing to do. You should hold brief for your team members. But you will be going it the wrong way if you go headlong with the persons who should approve whatsoever you want to approve. At the end of the day, you might not get what you want, and you might get what you don't want. You might not get what you want. In addition, you might not get what you don't want.
True.
You could get a reprimand, you could get a query, you could get whatever. I mean, insubordination. Yes. So what do? For instance, you stand up at a meeting where such a thing is being discussed, and you know your superior is there. Office politics teaches you to honor your superiors no matter what. Whenever they are going off the line, the proper thing to do is to do a formal report, not to go at cross contact. Make a report if you think it has come to that. But you see, in office politics, sometimes I tell people, go and do an unofficial conversation first. Try and see if they didn't mean it, if they didn't realize it was nothing, if they didn't know you were feeling undermined. Have a one-on-one first. That's some level of diplomacy and wisdom and tact. If they do not take that favor for anything, then the next line of action will be to do a formal report to someone. Or usually I will say, just before you do the formal report, speak to someone who is at par with them and have that person in confidence. Oh, ABC thing has been happening, and I thought to let you know, this is the step I've taken. I do not want to disrespect this person, but please, I just needed you to be in the loop. That person might tell you what to do. You could add their wisdom to your own. So now, instead when you want to go to war, you should settle down and do your back-end job very well.
True.
So the next thing will now be to do the report. But you see, let's come to communication. There's something else I teach a lot called strategic communication. Strategic communication is a key skill in office politics. It is how to say what you want to say without really saying it.
Powerful.
So you rise up from a meeting and you, rather than go, well, we don't like how we've been treated here, this is also bad, everything like that. You begin always, typically, professionally, and characteristically from the point of appreciation. Oh, thank you so much for all that we see you do. It's absolutely amazing. We love putting a word. You are still going to what you want to say. But then introduce the naughty issue as we would really be grateful if this could be attended to. And leave it there to be treated. So that's different from going like, not everybody is going to take an issue like an activist and expect that that thing will be resolved. Go and ask those who are activists. They know how that a lot of the times fingers are burnt and they are bruises.
Yes, very frustrating. Yes.
But they do what they do, even with your level of backing. But you are employed and you're working with a team. So there is a lot of little things,
powerful.
But they are all skills that should be learned. So when it comes to surviving that kind of environment, you just must hone the skill. You must expose yourself to learning. You must understand your peculiar environment and your peculiar personality.
Powerful.
And the environment.
Powerful.
Then you must deploy. Yes. You know, there's a scripture that says something like, you should do your war after you have settled down to sort things out well. It's critical. The Bible might not have mentioned office politics explicitly, but we have wisdom for it in the Bible. People management generally is critical.
I agree with wisdom. Wisdom seems to be the all-encompassing solution for every human need, including office politics. So let's tie this together. Somebody asked a question. Normally we would read questions from the audience to you and you answer it, but because we're running out of time, we need to start to close. Somebody asked a question. Have you ever experienced office politics personally? And what lesson did it teach you? I'm going to highlight it. So it's on the screen. Have you ever experienced office politics personally? And what lesson did it teach you? We have about 5 minutes more.
I have. I'm going to keep names of persons and organizations out. Again, because that's what is proper to do in a case like this. So I worked in a place where people generally, media organization here in Nigeria, did 14 years with the brand, exited in the year 2014 to start the project that I'm on right now. And there is a general perception about this brand in the media space, print media specifically. For one reason or the other, everything's still bordering around office politics, culture, and the rest of them. I also had my fair share. I'll give one of the examples. There's something you call witch hunting.
Oh, yes.
Witch hunting was it for me. So I'll specifically mention the time I resigned and notified the organization that I would be leaving. And for one reason or the other, some benefits that were already lined up that I should benefit alongside other team members that I worked with were suddenly withdrawn. And I knew that that was not the organization. That was some persons in the department responsible for those benefits. Number two, long into when I started, because I started work there as an intern and completed my course of study, turned in my new level certificate, and I was supposed to enjoy an upgrade. At least that's the way it had gone that I know. But for some reasons, my certificate was kept, acknowledged and kept, but nothing was done about the upgrade. That lasted for years, and I already had feedbacks from team members of mine who worry about, why do we still see this on your designation? They could see that I started doing some level of work that did not require me to be called what I was being called. So this is a case where you were doing the work, but the designation did not change. And that lasted for a few years. One of those days, one of my very respected bosses that I had worked with previously, because where I worked, you could be moved. I mean, it helps you be very versatile because you're moved from here, you have a stint here, a stint here, a stint here. So one of the bosses I had worked with came into the canteen one of those days. I said, "Oh, boss, you are here." I said, "Yes." He said, "Okay, so I'm going to sit at your table to eat today. I'm not going into the senior staff canteen."
Okay.
Is by every level a senior staff member of that very great organization. I said, "Oh, that would be a great honor, sir." So he sat down truly. And as we ate, I just thought, oh, this must be the opportunity to bring this to his notice. I could never have done a formal complaint about that because I didn't even know why the delay in the first place. So it was a situation then where you weren't sure what step you could take that could get you into more trouble.
True. That's another thing.
So I spoke with him and he said, "You mean it, boss?" I said, "Yes." "Oh no, I'm so sorry about that. The moment I get to the office now, please do me a memo and I will ensure that this is followed up and taken care of." That was how the upgrade was done. And subsequent promotions were done.
Powerful. So this is where tact, like you said, comes in.
Yes.
Knowing who to talk to.
You know, I told you about the reputation in the industry.
Yes.
People with whom I left the organization with whom we had similar experiences will talk about the brand negatively today. They are pained, they are angry about the way some managers handled them. But guess what I've chosen to do? Because I now run an organization as well. I told myself when I left that I've learned how not to be a leader and how to be a leader from some of the best persons that I've worked with them. So I'm thankful for that. Number two, I began there as an intern. So everything I learned to do, I learned from that organization. So I told myself, any individual may have been rough or wrong with me, but I'm never going to badmouth this brand. So everywhere I've gone, ever since I left, I have spoken really glowingly about the brand. And even my superiors who are there right now are really proud of how I carry the flag of the brand. For such a big brand, and a brand that is 53-year-old at that.
Powerful. Thanks for sharing that
so
with
I
us.
told myself, the seed I sow into that brand, I haven't left there. It wasn't all negative for me, but yes, there were negative, toxic things that happened. It was an environment people believed that you weren't sure you were going to still have your job one day after. You could only tell that you had gone home. You could come back the next day and the job is not there anymore. That was how loud
that was toxic. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Thanks for sharing that. And for the person who asked that question, I hope that answers your question. Unfortunately, we have to wrap up, but I know that Miss Bosede is coming back. I know that. It's been a very powerful time with you. Thank you so much. Everyone, please let me type thank you, thank you. So she comes back when next we invite her. Let her read it. I want to highlight your comments. Anyone who is still on watching live, please write, please come back. Thank you. It's been a very, very empowering session. Just say something nice. Help me appreciate our speaker. Help me do it. Help me do it. Who is dropping that comment? Who is dropping that comment? Who is dropping the comment? I'm going to highlight it. Let's tell her thank you. I can see someone say sharp. Another one. That's what me. Well, say thank you, thank you. Whoever is still on, let her understand that we really truly appreciate her coming. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mrs. Obasa. It's been a very, very empowering session. I got to have
so I hope I didn't fall below expectations.
No, you didn't. You answered my question of almost how many years. you made me feel, every time I think about that situation, I'm like, what could I have done better? And God helped me by meeting someone who is currently in the company and said they sacked them. So it shows me that they really were toxic as I perceived. But then again, this is what people live with, like you said about your former company. This is what people live with no expectation of another job. So they just bear, you know, the toxicity. And I really think what you've shared with us today, please watch it back again, guys. Even those of you who are live, we will share it. I know usually most of the engagement comes after the live, so we'll be looking out for the comments. Thank you so much. I know you're coming back. I know we will have more collaboration in the future, because I need to bring you to talk about emotional intelligence. That's one thing that is trending, but I feel people still don't have enough understanding of how it was, the dynamics of emotional intelligence. And I really see that it's the way of the future, even organizationally, because I talk about workplace toxicity and workplace bullying a lot. And that's how I come across emotional intelligence. So I know you'll come. You're busy, I know, but you'll make time for us. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Everyone that joined us live, thank you. You have a final closing word to our watchers, our audience?
Okay, so respect is reciprocal. That's the general notion.
Powerful.
Respect yourself. Respect people, respect your organization, and you may just have taken off 1/4 of the things that can become a problem to you in the workplace. Respect is one of the key items you use in playing office politics.
Respect is reciprocal.
But you have to make it a value of yours that you carry with you, even to environments where it may not be valued, but make it your own value, because it's the way they are going to talk about you, it's the way they are going to recommend you, it's the way they are going to think of you, and it's going to determine a lot for you. So it looks like something that today a lot of people do not want to care a lot about, but it's a very strong strategy for the workplace.
Thank you so much. What a powerful closing word. Respect is reciprocal. That looks like a topic we should bring you back on. Then you can talk about emotional intelligence. Thank you so much. Pastor D says thank you.
for having
Others
me.
are saying thank you. We appreciate you.
Thank
We'll see you again. Thank you
so
guys for
much.
joining us live. See you again next week, everyone. Have a blessed week ahead.